Yo, what is going on, guys? Fans and coaches of the ASL. My name is Hutcho322 here, and I'm bringing you guys yet another ASL YouTube video. And I have for you guys this week the ASL Season 5 Week 2 weekly recap. This is supposed to go up yesterday, but it is here now, ladies and gentlemen, so get out for that. And yeah, so basically weekly recap, pretty self-explanatory. Gonna break down the week, and we have a 2-0, 2-0, 1-0, 3-0, 5-0, 3-0, and a 3-0. So there was a fair amount of upsets or just surprising wins in general this week. So let's go ahead and hop into it. And I'm already on the wrong tab. Oh well. So first up, the first match, we have the Phoenix Flagons taking on the Slow Bohemians. Keister starting off very strong, picking up a 4-0 win against Ian in week 1. Is going to be stopped in his tracks by the Slow Bohemians and TJ Mew, picking up 3 kills, being one of the weekly heroes. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start this match. So we have Golurk taking on the Ninetales. Ninetales is not going to KO this thing, so TJ is going to go for an Earthquake. And apparently this, oh yeah, replays have been glitchy for me lately, and they're going to just randomly stop. So bear with me here. We're going to see what we can do. But this is a sub-toxic Ninetales, so TJ trying to play this toxic stall game. Not a bad strategy, considering he has a Mew and a Vaporeon on his team. So he's going to go for the sub with his Ninetales. Going to be able to get a free hit off onto this Zapdos, but considering the light screen is up and there is no sub up or sun up, this Ninetales is not going to be doing the most. Excuse me. But its idea is to go ahead and toxic stall it down, which it does to just under half. So Kingdra is going to go for a Dragon Dance here under the with those screens up. It's going to be very scary, but the Vaporeon does pack the roar, so TJ was ready for this. Geister's just going to go into his Mega Lopunny and is going to go for a return. So TJ trying to catch the Mega Lopunny off guard, possibly going for a high jump kick. And we're going to see a Como-O take the return pretty effectively, so this looks to be TJ's best answer for the Mega Lopunny, which makes me think that the Mew is more offensive. So we're going to see Ninetales come out, probably wanting to take Flash Cannon or an Iron Head, but Keister's just going to go for the Psychic straight up. TJ is going to go out into his Tyranitar, and the Jirachi does go for the all-out pummeling. So good prep, probably trying to get past a Pursuit variant, but then Tyranitar is just going to set up a DD and then go for a Crunch, so that just gets destroyed. Mega Lopunny can go for the fake out here, but it actually does outspeed anyways. And like I said, sorry guys, it's just going to keep pausing. It's weird. I don't really know how to fix it, but it is what it is. So we're going to see Mew come out, and the Armaldo is going to stand in its face, and Mew with a Swords Dance up. So like I said, it is going to be an offensive variance. TJ knows he can take one hit and is going to lose his leftovers in the process, but this is a bulky Swords Dance variant. Keister probably expecting the offensive move. He's going to go for the Rapid Spin, but at a bad time. So this Mew is going to be sitting at full, and Mew is going to get another kill into this Zapdos. So we're going to see if Keister has any answer for this thing. We're going to see a Shadow Punch come out from the Golurk. It's going to get a crit, and Mew is going to go for a knockoff. So that crit may have mattered. I think Mega Lopunny still revenges it either way, but I actually don't think that crit matters. Mega Lopunny still probably revenges it. We're going to see Ice Punch come out here from the Mega Lop. And then Como fires back a Drain Punch. Gets a lot of health back. And then Kingdra is going to go ahead and Dragon Dance up. And then Como is going to go for the Toxic and miss. So it makes me think that TJ does not have a Dragon type move on this thing. But we're going to see Toxic. And TJ's team is Toxic Stall, what I'm thinking. So this is only going to be good for him. There's no way Keister can break through the likes of Vaporeon and Snorlax, considering that the Vaporeon does have a Protect waiting, and then it might live, so TJ might stay in, but actually he's going to go out into a Snorlax here, and the Kingdra is going to be confused, which prevents this from being a 1-0 instead of a 2-0, and the Slow Bohemians are going to take their first dub in the ASL, as the Phoenix Flagons are going to even out at 1-1. So for the next match, we have the Denver Nummels and the London Lapras. Now, Cody is going to continue his winning streak, going 2-0 to start out this season, putting on a tremendous amount of pressure with Thundurus Incarnate, as Demaster has yet to find his footing, but will hopefully find it in the near future. So we're going to see Aerodactyl lead out against the Greninja. Definitely not what Demaster wants to see, especially since Aerodactyl cannot OHKO, and it can be OHKO'd itself. So Cody is going to set up the Toxic Spike, but it's faster than Umbreon, so the taunt is only going to prevent it from setting up spikes more. And we're going to see Umbreon go for the foul play, which does really nothing to Aggron. I mean, it's a very defensive Mon. And Umbreon's going to go for the Moonlight. Cody's going to get up his rocks. And Cody at this point is really just banking on the fact that the Aerodactyl or the Megalodios does not have Defog. And we're going to see Alolan Marowak come in, take some good rocks damage, and then the poison. So this Alolan Marowak does not like sitting here, especially with Cody having to protect. So he is maybe trying some toxic stalling of his own. He's going to make a very aggressive play into his Greninja, which is going to be able to revenge this Marowak. The Master does not want to give up his Marowak just yet, possibly save it for death fodder against the Thundurus possibly. And then Greninja is going to go for the U-turn. Get some nice damage. Is not going to be able to kill the Umbreon. And Umbreon goes for a Moonlight. So staying healthy. But Clef comes out and Clef beats this thing. Cody's going to double into Greninja. Possibly predicting the swap out into the Steelix. That would make the most sense to me. Steelix or Marowak. But Cody's just going to U-turn. Does not want to stay in here with his Greninja. As the Clefable is going to come out. And Clefable does beat this thing. Cody's probably not going to overpredict twice. As now Demaster is going to go out into the Steelix. Oh, Cody does make the same double. Apparently feeling like he lost nothing for making the double. And then Cody's just going to go for a straight Surf. As Demaster's Umbreon is going to be able to live through this. And Cody sees this as a very good opportunity. Just go ahead and set up Toxic Spikes. As the only form of hazard removal, like I said, is going to be the Aerodactyl or the Megalodios. And this random pausing is really annoying, but I truly don't know how to fix it. So we're going to see Umbreon. Oh, it's because it's a replay from Battle Area. And it's having issues with it. Whatever. But we're going to see Clef go for the Moonblast as the Umbreon wanted to guard split. So interesting strategy. Thundurus is going to come out as the Umbreon goes for a Moonlight. I think that means that the Umbreon's going to hit a lot harder. Judging that just killed, I'm going to guess that yes. But Thundurus is going to pick up a nice kill. And then Aerodactyl will be able to revenge it, but not if Cody goes into Aggron. Demaster's going to make a nice play going for Earthquake. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much because Aggron is just going to devour the hit. Steelix is going to take nothing from the Heavy Slam, nothing from the Earthquake really. Aggron's going to take nothing from the Earthquake. Just two very bulky Steel types firing off Earthquakes. Do nothing ultimately. Cody's going to make an aggressive play out into his Thundurus, gets off an all-out pummeling, and then gets rid of this Steelix. Or doesn't get rid of the Steelix due to a Chople Berry. So good prep on Demaster's part, as the Thundurus will live, can go for a superpower, which does nothing to Latios, of course. And Cody's actually going to stay in. He's going to go for a U-turn. Well, he knows that he's faster. And that crit is going to be very important if this Latios does not have recovery. But it does show that this Megalodios does have the defog, so Demaster doesn't have to sit here and look at these hazards for too long. But Clef is going to go for a Moonblast, get a special attack drop, which is definitely annoying for Manaphy because it's only going to be sitting at +2 after a Tail Glow. And my guess would be that this is unaware Clefable. Yeah, it is unaware Clefable, judging from the damage. And Manaphy is just going to go for a Z Heal Bell. So good play by Demaster. He's going to be able to heal his Alolan Marowak up and get a lot of health. He's just going to sack off his Steelix now. Go out into his Alolan Marowak, which does take a Moonblast, and then could just nuke this thing with a Flare Blitz and one-shot it. Alolan Marowak hitting very hard with that Thick Club. Manaphy coming out here. Can take the Dark Pulse, can take anything from this Greninja. Cody's going to opt to go for another one and just sack off his Greninja to this Energy Ball. So then Cody goes out into his Alolan Muck, and nothing is really threatening the Alolan Muck right now. The Shadow Sneak probably got a low roll there, otherwise Cody would have likely just gone into his Thundurus. But Alolan Muck is going to get crit by this Earthquake, so never mind. It does feel threatened. So Aggron is going to go for the Heavy Slam, which does kill the Megalodios. I don't really get that play. That play only makes sense if the Megalodios doesn't have any recovery. But this Alolan Marowak is then going to one-shot the Cryogonal. So Demaster's using the Alolan Marowak really well. But then Cody's going to go out into his Wild Charge. Wild Charging Thunderous gets rid of that thing. Demaster is going to miss, which is extremely unfortunate, but it only matters in terms of differential. Aggron was at 45, so Earthquake would not have knocked it out. It would have done 20%. Even on a crit, it doesn't kill. And all Demaster really accomplishes from that is he gets one less differential point taken off, because the Aggron would one-shot him with Heavy Slam. So while that is unfortunate, yes, it ultimately doesn't matter in terms of the outcome. So that's going to be the game. London Lapras 2-0. For the next match, we have the Aussie Kangaskhan's and the Arcane Arcanines. We have Mega Scizor really coming in clutch for Ian. You guys will see in a moment. But Ian having a very rough week 1. He's going to bounce back pretty well and get a nice 1-0 victory over arguably one of the best coaches in the ASL. We have excellent name here, who started off pretty well in week 1 and is going to fall back down to 1-1 to start off the first 2 weeks. So we're going to see Metagross and Uxie here. And Uxie's going to set up the rocks. Metagross is going to set up the rocks. Uxie's going to go for the knockoff and gets rid of the Shucka Berry, gets a crit, and the Metagross is going to go for the Pursuit. Uxie goes to get its Cobra Berry, so a lot of the same stuff. But we're going to see the Uxie actually swap out here, and then Metagross is going to get good damage on it, but Garchomp is going to tremendously pressure this thing. And Ian is just going to go for the HP Ice, so a god tier play by Ian right there. It was a pretty safe bet since nothing else wants to take an Earthquake, but a very good play at that. Landorus is not going to be able to touch this thing as well. It has to run HP Flying for most of Ian's weeks because he does not have access to Z moves on his Landorus. So Tapu Fini is going to come in here, and Landorus just goes for the knockoff. Probably the best mon to knock off its item, because now Fini does not have the recovery that it otherwise would, but it is going to get rid of rocks just to help with pivoting on its team. Ian's going to make a swap out into his Garchomp, and knowing he can take an HP Ice, he just wants to set up the rocks. He deems that more worthy than more health on his Garchomp. Gonna go right out into his Heliolisk, as Heliolisk goes for Hyper Voice. Does honestly really good damage to this Electabuzz. Electabuzz does some big damage with the Fire Punch, but the Hydro Vortex will be enough to take out Electabuzz, giving Ian the first kill in the match. DOD comes out, or DOS is going to come out and click the Fire Punch to even this thing back up at 5-5. Roserade being the obvious swap into Fini is what's going to come out here. Chestnut is going to come out, and judging by that damage, I'm going to guess it's HP Fire. That would make the most sense, especially for the Scizor. But Ian's just going to go for the Spiky Shield. You know what, maybe Roserade attacks, but Ian is going to just absolutely play this perfectly. He's going to go for the Synth and make it so he can take this Earthquake, and then goes for the Spikes. But then does not want to take another Earthquake, so he's just going to get rid of this Chestnut, and his Roserade is going to be sitting pretty decent. And we're going to see Uxie come out. Uxie is going to go for the Memento, trying to basically set up the Scizor, but the Clear Body is going to save Ian here. And Ian is down 5-3, but he's got a Swords Dancing Mega Scizor to really come in clutch here. So we got Metagross going for a big HP Fire, does a lot of damage, and Ian is going to get rid of the Metagross. And Ian does not want to take a Fire Punch at this point. He's going to go out and do his Rocky Helmet Garchomp, and look at this damage. 12, 17. Boom, 30%, 12, 17. That Mega Kangaskhan just took 58%. Not to mention the rocks. He took 70% in one turn without even being attacked. But the Blizzard's going to miss, but Deoxys is going to come in and revenge. And it's still in Ian's favor at 3-2. But the Deoxys is going to go for the Tectonic Rage, which does not kill, and Fini is going to get rid of the Deoxys. So getting rid of a big problem for Scizor, in the fact that this Scizor would have to set up to kill it. But the Roserade comes out, Tapu Fini is going to go down. Scizor does go for the Bug Bite, as it does outspeed Roserade. Ian showing that he is a slower variant. And this crit does not matter either way. Bullet Punch does like 12% min to a max defensive Landorus, even if he's no attack Scizor, but he was a very offensive Scizor. And this prep by Ian really pays dividends in the match, as the offensive and speedy Scizor is going to end up winning him the match and giving him his first Season 5 victory. So, for the next match, we have the Utah Hoots and the St. Louis Samurai. And like I said, guys, we have a lot of upsets this week. This being, of course, one of them. We have Susie taking down Brad, which is you don't see Brad lose that often. And a big accomplishment for Susie, getting himself to 2-0. And let's go ahead and hop into this. So we're going to have Galvantula. And at this time, Anderson was sick, so he might make some questionable plays. But we're going to see Galvantula get crit here. It's going to go for a Thunder. That is Choice Specs damage. And Galvantula is looking really good for the rest of this game, as long as it doesn't take any more damage. So Susie's going to go out and do his Necrozma, as Anderson is going to set up the sub. The sub is obviously going to be broken by the Photon Geyser, because Photon Geyser can be physical if Dragalge's defense is lower than his special defense, which it normally is. The Sludge Wave doing okay damage, but Necrozma is going to go for the Photon Geyser and does huge damage to Tapu Koko, does 2/3 of its health. And Susie's going to choose to go out into his Klefki, as Anderson just wants to get momentum going out of Dragalge. Probably wants to use his Klefki to set up a sub. Necrozma is going to come out just to make sure that this Dragalge can't be like sub-toxic spike or something annoying like that. It's going to be breaking the sub every time. So Photon Geyser is going to break the sub, obviously. And Brad has to swap out. In my opinion, Susie should make a double out here into his... I think Galvantula was the play, but Stealth Rock's not a bad play. Because Galvantula, in my opinion, is the play, because he either goes Empoleon or he goes Mana Buzz. But it's fine. Mana Buzz is going to go for the U-turn, getting out into the Empoleon. Likely wants to just defog these hazards away or set up hazards of its own. So we're going to see Venusaur come out, and this is actually a Swords Dance Empoleon. And then it's going to fire off a big Drill Peck here, and is going to do 50% to this Mega Venusaur, but with the Giga Drain, the Mega Venusaur is going to be able to live through this. So Anderson knows he can take another Giga Drain, but Susie's going to pick the perfect time to go for the Earthquake. If only Anderson was not Shuka on his Empoleon, Mega Venusaur would have killed, and if only. So we're going to see the Empoleon do enormous damage to this Weavile, and Weavile is going to be able to take it out though, holds on with a little bit of health. Alamomola is going to take a Rapid Spin fairly easily, going to get it all back from leftovers. And then Tapu Koko is going to try and put on the pressure, knowing Alamomola cannot one-shot it. Well, kill it from that range. But Toxic is going to be annoying for Tapu Koko, and Anderson seeing Toxic. He knows that this Alamomola probably can't do anything to Dragalge, and Dragalge gets a free hit here. So Necrozma can choose to go for the recovery, or it can just attack. Susie's going to make the play and go for the Moonlight. Anderson went aggressive into his Aselgor, but Susie does have a Klefki sitting right there. He's going to go for the guard split, which is interesting. Probably just trying to make the Klefki a little bit frailer. And the Klefki is going to go for the Toxic, which doesn't work because Mana Buzz is a dark type. And then Mana Buzz is going to U-turn into the Tapu Koko. And Tapu Koko can fire off a really big hit into this Necrozma, which Susie does not want to take. And this shows to be a physical Tapu Koko, so this is probably a Z-Fly if I had to guess. He's probably not going to get to use it, as he is going to die. So we're at 4-4 right now, and Susie does opt to save his Weavile. Weavile still has a lot of use in it, can kill the Dragalge, can do tremendous amounts to the Mana Buzz, and can just get a nice Ice Shard later in the game. So not a bad save. And Susie's actually going to make the double into Necrozma. It's a good play on his part. But Mana Buzz can just come out each time, but Anderson is going to have rocks up on his side of the field, which is annoying, especially if this Mana Buzz does not have defog. I don't assume it does. I don't think you run 2 defoggers. It doesn't make all that much sense. But the Mana Buzz is going to be burned here, as Foul Play is going to do nothing to the Keys, and the Keys is just going to go for the leftovers recovery, which is going to be very helpful to get it back up. And Susie's putting Anderson in a tremendously annoying situation, because Susie's going to hazard stack him, which is a really good play to keep Klefki around even when Empoleon's dead, because then you can just go ahead and spike stack, which is going to be tremendously helpful for Susie to help beat down Anderson's team. So the Photon Geyser is going to come out, obviously doing nothing. It is immune, dark type. So it's apparent that at this point that Necrozma really only has Photon Geyser, but we're actually going to see the Power Gem here. It's just Mana Buzz goes to the roost, removing its flying typing. This is honestly a really long match. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. This is a really long match. And the other matches aren't any shorter. So we'll go to a fast setting. So we're going to see Icicle Crash come out here. And Anderson is packing the Yachi, so Foul Play is going to come through here. And Necrozma is only going to be able to go for the Power Gem, which is nothing while this thing is roosting. So Clef is going to come out. This is a really stall game. I mean, look at Susie's team. It's a stall game at the end. So we're going to just see them weaken each other down. The Hitmonlee is going to get burned, which is actually huge. And that's going to do nothing. So Photon Geyser doing big damage. Yada, yada, yada. And then boom, Necrozma is going to go ahead and fire off Photon Geyser. Get rid of the Hitmonlee. Even if it's a 3-3. Gonna try and guard split. And Anderson is really just going to sack his Selgor here to the player up from Klefki. So Klefki's going to pick up the kill. It's then going to kill the Dragalge. And then with the Roost, the Klefki is not going to be able to take it out. And we're going to be waiting. Susie's going to go into his Alamomola. And keep going a little bit more. And then boom, Mandibuzz finally dies. Like I said, if I let that play 95 turns, this is probably a 50-minute video. Because I know the next matches, I know at least the last match has like 60 or 70 turns. So, yeah. In the next match, here we have Houston Hoopas and the Portland Timber. Not the Portland Timbers, PC Barcelona. It's getting late. But, yeah, we are going to have a 5-0 victory for AZ in a very dominant victory. So let's go ahead and hop into it. We got Crustle. We got Patrick the Crustle because he's living under a rock. He's living as a rock. But Jolteon is going to go for the Volt Switch out into the Araquanid. AZ is going to set up his rocks. And then Spikes. So very common theme against Shadow has been to hazard stack him, as there is no hazard removal for Shadow this week. So Crustle doing its job. It's going to get up all those yummy hazards. And then Tapu Bulu is just going to go for a sub here. Shadow packs the Leech Life. So that's not going to do a ton to Bulu. So AZ is just going to fire off a Horn Leech here. Getting his health back. And then Leech Life barely able to break a sub. So honestly, Bulu should go for Stone Edge here if he has it. But the Araquanid is just going to be sacked off to this Tapu Bulu. We're sitting at 5-5 at this point. Selly is going to go for the Heavy Slam. Does have to Bulu, but then Bulu sets up a substitute, possibly a sub-seed set. That would make a lot of sense, honestly. It's very good against Shadow's team, so he does go for the Leech Seed there. And then with the terrain gone, Bulu is going to swap out into Rotom, and a Totemize is going to come out. So Rotom doesn't care. Rotom's going to take every single hit from this Selly. So Hippo is going to come out, wanting to take that electric move. Rotom is going to go for a Will-O-Wisp, which is kind of a risky play, because if it's like a very specially offensive Selly, that gets a little bit hard to deal with, but physically defensive does make more sense. Or physically offensive. So Bulu is going to come out on the Hippo as Shadow doubled out into his Stoutland. So interesting stuff there. We're going to see Stoutland try and get a big hit off here, which may or may not kill the Bulu, depends on investment. And Bulu is going to live probably a little bit of a bulkier Bulu. I mean, we did see Subseed, so very possible that it's a bulkier Bulu set. AZ does want to save his Bulu here. He's going to go into Heatran. He knows he can take an Earthquake because of the grassy terrain, but he wants to bait it and go out into his Rotom anyways, which is fair play. And then the Selly is going to go for the Heavy Slam. Rotom goes for the Will-O-Wisp, as it is a physically offensive Celesteela. We can tell because we've seen 2 physically offensive moves. And then AZ can just go for a Hex. And yeah, out comes the Jolteon. Jolteon will outspeed it. It's going to take a good amount from the hazards. Skuntank can come out here. It's going to get caught in a web, but it's not faster anyway, so it really doesn't matter all that much. And this proves to be likely a Quick Feet Jolteon, which is not a bad bring at all. It's basically it basically gives it +2 speed, so it's like agility that you don't have to click a move for. So Tapu Bulu is going to come out here, and Hippowdon is going to go for the Slack Off. And Bulu gets a free leech, or a free Horn Leech here, unless the Hippo was packing, you know, HP Poison, something I've ran before on Hippo. Never actually worked, never got to use it, but you know, I brought it, thought it was there. So Victini is going to try and come in here and salvage this situation. It has the HP ground, so this is probably a this is especially offensive variant. A Thunderbolt is going to do a tremendous amount, but Mantine is so specially bulky. It's going to live that, go over the surf, and kill the Victini. And then Hippo comes out, and AZ's just going to go for the surf here, and is going to crit and take this thing out. So the only thing that crit changes is the fact where it's a 4-0 or 5-0. But yeah, it's going to be the Houston Hoopas taking the biggest win of the week as a 5-0. Then we have the Hartford Whalers and the Washington Whalers, and the biggest upset of the week. We're going to see Cam, who had one win all season last season, pick up a dub over the reigning champion of the ASL. So we're going to see Cam take a 3-0 victory over TCP and the Hartford Whalers. Meloetta really putting in work, 4 kills for Cam, and over the past 2 seasons, he's really showed that he can show off Meloetta and all of its talents. So let's see how he did it. We're going to see Delmise and Reggie steal here. So Decidueye is going to come out, basically confirming, TCP confirming in his mind that this thing is not going for Shadow Claw. Goes for Shadow Claw now into the Decidueye. Decidueye tried to make a prediction there that something was coming out. Delmise is going to get a nice little crit. Delmise is then going to die to the Zygarde, so possibly a more offensive version of Delmise, but Sneasel can just revenge this Zygarde. Nothing Zygarde can do, can't swap out. So we're going to be sitting at 5-5 at this point. And Jelly is a really good answer to Infernape. The Decidueye is just going to go for the Roost. Cam is going to predict TCP to try and Roost up in this situation. And he's going to go for the Shadow Ball to try and put some pressure on this thing. We're going to see another Roost. It's going to depend on rolls if this is a battle that Cam can win. Judging by it going from 47 to 45, I'm going to guess this isn't a battle that he can win. He's going to get a Toxic off. So he's really not afraid of this Decidueye. Decidueye is now going to go for the Giga Drain. It doesn't really do that much. And Jelly can just go for a recover here. So Jellicent is actually going to force out the Decidueye because it is Toxic. And we're going to see Latios come out. Latios is going to be Toxic. Really not what Cam wants to see. But he was probably just trying to pivot with this thing anyways. He's going to force in the Aromatisse. And then Cam just going to go out into his Scizor. We're going to see a lot of switching at this point. And seeing that it's especially offensive variant, going to predict the HP Fire there, and is going to disable the HP Fire, which is interesting because Cam can actually go back into his Scizor, which is something that TCP is going to predict. Not going to be the case. Jelly's just firing off these Shadow Balls. The Reggie is not leftovers, so this is going to benefit Cam a lot to get this Registeel worn down. Cam is going to make a really good double out into his Scizor, though. Predicting the Aromatisse to come out, then Infernape is going to come out aggressively on the Scizor, but Scizor does get a defog off, and Infernape does not want to mess with the threat of Scizor and just goes for a Fire Punch as Jelly's going to just eat it up. Shadow Ball doing really nothing to Regice. Regice does a lot of damage with the Thunderbolt, but the Curse Body is going to go ahead and weaken the damage there. Aromatisse comes out as Meloetta comes out. Meloetta is just going to go for a Psychic. That does a lot of damage. That is either a physically defensive Aromatisse or that is a Specs Meloetta. So Meloetta is just going to fire off another Psychic. It has no reason not to, especially with that special defense drop there. And TCP is forced out into his Regice. Just take a drink. So Scizor is going to come out as Decidueye comes out. And Cam is really not fearing TCP, and he's calling his bluff on a lot of these plays, which is ultimately giving him a lot of momentum. So he's going to go for the knockoff, which gets rid of this Ape's Scarf, which that Scarf was probably intended for the Latios, but TCP is going to make the prediction going for the Thunder Punch, which is then going to be able to pick off the Jelly, giving him the advantage 5-4. But Cam can just go out into his Latios knowing that this thing is no longer Scarfed. He'll be the fastest thing there. Latios is not going to be able to 2-hit KO the Regice, which is probably annoying for Cam, but he's then going to go for a Focus Blast, which does not do anything, obviously. And then knowing that this Decidueye can't touch the Meloetta, he's just going to go for a Shadow Ball, and another Shadow Ball will pick this thing off. It will 2-hit KO the Regice, or he can just, Psychic. That crit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It would have 2-hit KO'd anyways. We're going to see a special defense drop for the Aromatisse. Cam can go hard Scizor, or he can stay in here. Either way, Shadow Ball was the correct play. Now he can follow up with a Psychic. As the Decidueye is going to come out, that thing dies, and TCP really has no answer for Meloetta at this point. His no answer is not get a special defense drop. And if I were Cam, I would go Scizor here, but if he wants to just keep firing off Psychics, that is not a bad play either. And Aromatisse being bulky as ever, I feel your pain. And we're going to see Registeel come out, so TCP is going to pass a Wish into that thing, get it all healthy. And Focus Blast is going to do a tremendous amount. It is Chople Berry, so it would have done a lot if it wasn't Chople Berry, but that is a Spadef Registeel, I can confirm. So this is going to be a little bit of Solly. Okay, get to this point. So the Psychic is going to KO, and then Infernape can just come in and U-turn, stop the reign of Meloetta, or so you thought. So Registeel is going to come in, Psychic is going to do 13%, then it can go for Focus Blast, which does kill the Infernape, and then Focus Blast is going to miss. I mean, that's what it was put in the game to do, am I right? So Latios is going to go for a trick, just ensuring that this game ends. Cam goes to his Scizor. We'll just speed this up because it's just a bunch of bullet punching. So that is going to be the game with the trick on the Latios that just secures the game, just in case there's like funky curse rest or stuff like that. That is going to be the game. Biggest upset of the week. And TCP is going to fall to an 0-2 hole. And then finally, the second longest match of the week. We have the Portland Timbers and the St. Louis Swablues. Portland Timbers are going to win 3-0 to boost up to 2-0 as Malone is going to fall to 0-2. A very well played game by Malone, however. And Extra Drill is going to pick up 3 kills, making it a weekly hero. So let's hop into it. So we're going to have Scrafty and Rotom Mow. And the Scrafty is just going to go for the Protect, seeing if this thing wants a Trick, if it wants a Will-O-Wisp, if it wants a Volt Switch, all that good stuff. And this thing does switch up his moves, so I know that it's not Choice Scarfed. Amoonguss is going to take it, and then just going to go out into Gigalith on the Talonflame. Malone is going to opt for the momentum, going for the U-turn from Talonflame. The Gigalith is going to take the Earth Power fairly easily and can set up some rocks of its own, as that will very much hinder the Talonflame. So Scrafty is going to come out, gets the Intimidate, not going to matter at all. Physical Rotoms are not a thing unless you're trying to run Sucker Punch to catch off guard like a Hoopa or something like that. But Will-O-Wisp, it's going to be onto the Amoonguss, probably the best status that Amoonguss could be hit with. Then Volt Switch is going to get out into the Florges, which Florges is going to really take nothing from this, only doing 28 with the Sludge Bomb. And Florges can just go ahead and wish it off. So X-Drill is going to come out here, but the Florges is going to opt to go for the Defog, and then the Extra Drill can just go ahead and go for a nice Earthquake, which is not to KO the Palossand, especially with the leftovers. And going to go out of my Scrafty, don't want to take an Earth Power here. And we're going to see a Shore Up, and once we get to about turn 25 or 30, once this stuff starts repeating, I'm just going to go ahead and start speeding it up. But I'm going to make the prediction that he goes out into Florges or Deontay, get off a nice Iron Head. And then Malone is going to go for a Moonblast, as Assault Vest Amoonguss is going to take absolutely nothing from that. Talonflame is going to come out. I'm going to predict the Talonflame to come out, and I'm going to go to my Gigalith. And then Malone goes for the U-turn, as out comes a Rotom. And Rotom is going to take 28 from this Gigalith Rock Slide. And going to preserve the Gigalith for that for the Talonflame. Rotom is going to go for the Pain Split, gets a lot back, and is going to do a lot to the Amoonguss, since Amoonguss's HP stat is so high and Rotom's is so low. Amoonguss is going to go for a Sludge Bomb. It does not get a Poison, and Amoonguss is being chipped down a lot with his Burn and Sandstorm, but its Regenerator can always heal it back up. So knowing that Rotom is not Scarfed, Amoonguss is going to just stay in here, going for a Sludge Bomb, and Rotom is going to try and possibly predict the swap. I don't know. Maybe predicting the swap out into Zydoge. The Scrafty is going to come out here. This is about the turn where it gets really repetitive. So we're going to see Deontay come out. So he's going to have the momentum. Got to go out and do a Amoonguss. Amoonguss going to eat it up. And then Florges, I'm going to double out into Scrafty, predicting... I don't know what I was predicting. But Extra Drill is going to come out just to put on some offensive pressure. Gonna double out into Keldeo, predicting the Palossand to come out. but he's actually going to go Rotom. So just going to go Amoonguss here. Going to get the Leaf Storm drop off. Going to get some damage into Florges. Going to try and poison the Palisand. It does happen. Like, sorry I'm speeding this up, but I don't want this to be a 50-minute video. I mean, come on now. Florges is going to come out. Keldeo is going to come in. It can take a Moonblast. Extra Drill going to try and put on some pressure. Going to go for the Swords Dance. It does not do enough, and don't want to get Willowed. Just going to go out into Amoonguss. Can't do enough to Florges. Trying to go hard into Extra Drill here. Just, again, trying to put the pressure on. Extra Drill is going to go for Iron Head, and does kill Talonflame, or so we thought. That is the Zoroark. Malone is going to sack it off. Then goes Palossand. Going to go into Scrafty, take the hit. You guys know the drill. Going to go for a knockoff. Does nothing. It's obviously a physically defensive Palossand. If the Earthquake damage didn't show that earlier. So Keldeo, not that. So Keldeo is going to go for the taunt here, predicting the Florges to come out just to put it on the back foot. Then going to go into a Moonguss. Moonguss is going to Sludge Bomb. We're going to see a Shore Up. Florges going to come out, take a Giga Drain. He's going to take some toxic damage plus the leftovers. Then Moonblast. It's going to be getting a little bit low. Goes for the Synth, but Extra Drill does one-shot this thing. Going to go for the Iron Head, get some chip on the Rotom. Moonguss comes out, and then we're sitting here Talonflame. This is where the game gets interesting. Okay, like everything before was kind of just like kind of boring. But Talonflame is going to set up a +2 with a Swords Dance, then goes for the Supersonic Sky Strike. Going to go out into Keldeo. This is Aqua Jet Keldeo, so Keldeo could save the game here by getting necessary chip. But Malone is going to go out into his Florges. I'm actually going to pop a Waterium Z here. It had a slight chance to kill him, but going to catch the Rotom, and then Rotom is going to go down to Secret Sword. So we're finally getting progress in this match. So Rotom does go down, and we're sitting here 5-4. Talonflame is going to come out, going to go for the Aqua Jet. Just sack off the Keldeo, get some necessary chip into this Talonflame, as Braver is going to bring it really low. Keldeo did his job. We're sitting at 4-4 with a very weak Talonflame here. So the Sand Up, for only 2 more turns, going to try and take advantage of that with Drill, going for the Iron Head, and Palossand is going to die in 1 turn, so down it goes. Drill claiming its 2nd kill, and then Diancie is going to come out. I want to save this thing for Florges. We're going to see a Moonguss take an Earth Power, even on a crit, absolutely nothing. It has to have Psychic to do anything, and I still am out of 2-hit KO range, so that's nice. Florges is not going to be liking Sludge Bombs at this point. I get to go Extra Drill every time until he shows me that he has a way to deal with me. So I just get to click Iron Head here and get a kill. So Florges does go down. Extra Drill getting its 3 kills in the match. Mega Deontay is going to come out. I don't want this thing to set up a Rock Polish. So, because if it gets up a Rock Polish, there's a chance that it wins if it gets special attack drops. So then Zydoge is going to be able to pick up this game. Choice Banded Zygarde. 10% is going to win the game. Lives a hit from Talonflame, even if it did opt to attack. And 1,000 Arrows does kill. So that is going to be the game. Portland Timbers 3-0 over the St. Louis Swablues. And that is going to be the week, guys. Thank you guys all for watching. And sorry if it's a bit of a longer video, but we had like a 95-turn game. We had a 62-turn game. We had some 40-turn games. Just a very long week of games. But yeah, sorry it's late, but it is here. So like I said, be happy for that. And thank you guys all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.